And welcome to WSA TV's Women's Premiere Show. I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer. And when life throws you curveballs, how do you receive them? How do you manage them? Today, we're going to give you the tools to help you crush it and crush those challenges and thrive in your life. We want you to reach your highest potential, and we're going to give you what it needs to rise. And how come I can say that? Because I have some experts here who are chomping at the bit. They have the tools, and we're going to go say hi to them. So hi, Sylvie.
Hi, my name is Sylvie Olivier. I'm an expert in bioenergetic. You can find me at goldenheartwisdom.com, and I'm located in Quebec, Canada.
Well, welcome, Sylvie. Great to have you. And hi, Mira.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Bronco, consulting and coaching psychologist in leadership and team development, author of Millennials Guide to Workplace Politics, and you can find me at broncoassociates.com, and I'm in North Carolina.
Welcome from North Carolina, and hi, Sherry.
Hi, I'm Sherry Ann Shar, and I'm a medical intuitive and an international best-selling author. You can find me at sherryanshar.com, and I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Awesome. Thanks, Sherry. And hi, Jacqueline.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Wales. I'm the author of The Fearless Factor, The Fearless Factor at Work, and the upcoming Fearless Women Leading the Way. I'm a speaker and trusted advisor, and I'm based in Vallejo, California.
Okay, well, we are spanning the coast here, so I want to get right into it because all of you have such amazing wisdom, and I really am inspired to learn the tools you have to crush it. So, Sylvie, I wanted to ask you first, what tool do you have to offer our viewers to help them overcome obstacles, crush it, and achieve their dreams and highest potential?
Well, this is what I call the wave breathing technique. So you put one hand on your belly, on your navel, one hand on your heart, and you take deep breath. And I know women, we don't like to swell the belly, but please do it now. So we can really just be able to breathe like a wave, like a baby. And while we do that, just allow all the thoughts and the conflicts that you may have in your head and the worries become like magnets, and these magnets will be attracted like a ball in the middle of your head, and you continue to breathe and allow the ball to move down. Maybe at your throat you will feel a little something. Just continue to breathe and allow your heart to absorb it.
Wow, I'm just doing that now, and I'm like in a whole different space. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so what does that tool do if we breathe like that and we do that for just like the time you said it to do it?
Well, it allows ourselves to free the mind, to be able to see with more clarity all the experience and the opportunities that are there for us, instead of being in confusion and frustrated because we don't have access to these beautiful resources.
Beautiful. Wow. So this is perfect to segue into Mira and Dr. Mira, and your advice for viewers to, okay, so they get clear, they have some sense of centering. What would you give advice for people to really crush it and achieve their dreams next?
Yeah. And Sylvie, I feel calmer already. I feel like I can crush it. So, right. When you're done sort of coming to that place, there's three things that I think you should do really well as a leader and as a team. The first is learning how to develop strong emotional intelligence. I often say, know where you stop and someone else starts. The second is understanding the systems at play that may affect your likelihood of success, the systems around you. And the third is know what it takes to drive results, and especially the people side of change, which is what everyone misses when they're trying to drive results.
Wow. Great things to kind of, rewind this video, write down those notes, write down your answers to those questions. And wow. Thank you, Mira. And then Sherry, what do we do when we have things that are physically challenging us and we want to really crush it and reach our highest potentials? Do you have any advice? A tool?
Yes. The first tool I teach is NEO, non-emotional observer. And within 10 minutes or less, through the AHA method, you can get to the core, the origination point that is stuck in your body. So I teach people how to get out of that left computer brain that doesn't know what it's doing and access the pure, clear cellular memory. That's that second tool, to dissipate the cellular memorization of all those voices in that left computer brain that aren't yours.
So that non-emotional observer technique, can you give us a step in that, where we can start?
Well, if you've been diagnosed with something, look what die says. I teach wordology as your biology. So when you can get out of all that emotional trap, then you can connect to what is your truth. And then in order to have a solution, you must have a resolution. And when you resolve it, not in your left computer brain, but within all the intelligence and intellect within the body, then guess what happens? You get well, your business gets well, and your relationships turn into relationships.
I want an relationship. That's great. That's awesome. So great. Really starting with that non-emotional observer to be in a positive state. It sounds like getting that elevated mindset going. Yes.
Yes, and I tell them getting your head out of your assets that really require to work. I use humor a lot because humor is the best medicine.
Well, thanks for enlivening us with that lightheartedness. I think that goes a long way. And Jacqueline, what tool do you want to give our viewers to crush it and reach their highest potential?
So for me, the crushing it starts with questions. It's always about questioning fear. And since my work is all about being fearless, I like to say being fearless is not the absence of fear, but the courage to take the next step. So when we look at our fears, we have to ask the question, is it true? Because do we have empirical evidence for the fears that we might be holding at any given time? Many of us fear stuff that hasn't even happened yet. So you have to sit down and really look at what your investment in holding on to that fearful thinking that is really tied into your behavior too, because what happens when we're in fear, we withdraw. So taking the next step, having the courage to take even the tiniest step possible to go beyond the discomfort of what you're currently feeling creates massive responses in your body to really try a little bit harder and move a little bit further and find out that fear is absolutely not true. And, whatever story you're telling yourself, we got to change that story because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, fear can really have a grip on people, and it can prevent them from doing everything that Mira and Sherry and Sylvie, it can be a blockage. So if we get through that fear factor and at least acknowledge, have our brain say, you know what, this might not be true. You can do all the other steps. Man, wow, what a power team you all are. From getting into the body at the cellular level, like Sherry does, and Sylvie with the breathing, and Mira with the logic. Now, okay, we've freed up our body. Now let's get our mind involved. So, wow, and then bust through that fear. You can do anything. You can open up your mind to the next level of success. So, ladies, you are seriously a powerhouse. Arsenal have some tools that can really help people. So I want to know like a little bit more about you. What do you do? Who do you work with? And what do you do? So Sylvie, maybe you can enlighten us.
Yes, of course. Well, everything that I do, in fact, is really to assist people to move from the head to the heart, to take this journey, 18 inches only, but it may be the longest of our life. And when we really go into our, do you hear me? Is that okay?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. All right. So when you really dive into your heart, all of a sudden you access this pure love that is always inside of us. And as Jacqueline was saying about fear, it dissolves fear when you access your heart and you dissolve all the mental archives that are located at the base of the skull, like control, limits, like effort. We think that we need to put a lot of effort and the crystallized emotions in the nervous system. So what we teach, what we assist people doing is to dissolve them so they can be free, really to be who they are, to come back to their essence, and to shine and contribute to humanity.
Beautiful work. So tell me, how did you get into this?
Well, it was my own journey. My youngest daughter was 4 at the time, and she became so sick for 7 years. But twice it happened that she had 6 to 7 hours to live, and I was devastated, completely in despair. And I thought that I was in my heart when I wanted to save her. And I realized later on that I wanted to keep her for myself, it was not a freedom for her. And I realized that when I was rocking her one night, because she was sleeping around 2 to 3 hours a night because she was always in great pain. And when I realized that, I let her go. Not physically, I didn't share it with my voice, but heart to heart in silence. And, I've said to her, I don't know what to do anymore. I've tried everything and you are still in so much pain. So I completely let you go if this is the highest opportunity for you. And it was the hardest thing for me. But the next morning when she woke up, she had sparks in her eyes. And this is when I realized the power of the heart, that I didn't have to choose for her. I just had to let her choose by herself. And she chose to stay here. She's now a mother of a beautiful young boy. She's 30 and very healthy. So this is when I realized that what we think with the mind that is love is not really love. It's conditional love. But the pure love that comes from within creates magic in our lives.
So beautiful. What a great story, and how you're able to gift that to other people now and help them through that. So thank you. And Mira, tell us about your background and who do you work with and what do you do with them?
Yeah. And Sylvie, thank you for sharing your powerful life-changing story. So who I work with, leaders and teams in large, complex organizations. And I have a special passion for helping women and other marginalized leaders navigate these complex systems and helping organizations make it easier for them to navigate. And my approach is to use a data-driven approach backed by research-based psychological principles of change to identify, leverage, optimize our strengths, avoid blind spots and common pitfalls, and learn how to manage the people side of change.
And how did you get into that work?
Yeah, so I started out my journey with making a lot of mistakes in my own career and a lot of blind spots, missing the common pitfalls. And when I went back to school and went back into a new profession, everything had changed for me. I had a mentor who helped me learn what I was missing in my leadership journey in order to be successful. And this was so critical to my success that it catapulted my leadership journey beyond what I ever thought was possible. And over time, other women were coming to me asking me, how did you get this done? How did you succeed in this? How do I get past this barrier? This is such a large, complex system. What do I do? And I grew a real passion for sharing all of that sort of underlying unspoken rules with women to help them be more successful. And I have a letter from a client recently with who I've done individual leadership and team development coaching with her and her team. And she wrote to me this unbelievably fulfilling, rewarding response to the work that we did. She said, "You validated me in my most difficult times, helped me reframe my mindset when it was no longer serving me well, and helped me believe I can do this and kept me sane. You saved my life."
Amazing. Beautiful transformational stories. Thank you. Okay, so Sherry, tell us about your amazing work and who do you work with? What do you do for them? And how did you get into this?
Well, actually, I want to thank Sylvia and Mira and Jacqueline because there's so many things in connection. So who do I work with? Individuals that are in pain from actually the womb, inside the womb, to before they hit the tomb. And sometimes it's even after the tomb. I kid you not. But it's the pain. And to discover what is the core of the pain, which I love, Jacqueline, that's about fear. And so what I teach is that fear is lack of correct information. So when you lay it out, and then you can realize with real eyes what's going on, then you can actually feel in your heart, Sylvia, that you do not have to be trapped. So it's those that are experiencing some diagnosis or label of fear, because fear is lack of correct information.
And I'm assuming you have a story of how you got into this work. That's pretty profound.
Yes, it is. In 1991, I had it all. I had it all. You will be really proud. I was sued for alimony, but it's okay. Flew my own airplane, did all kinds of stuff, and I had an accident, and I had a broken neck, broken back, smashed head, and a brain out of place, which we did not know, and I died. It was a fabulous experience. And so as I was laid in the hospital and with all these dire predictions of my life, I was laying there and I was looking at my arm and I thought, well, that part doesn't look so damaged, but what if I cut it, whether I put antibiotics on it or not? What would happen? There has to be something smarter than this computer brain of ours. And the two words came to me in 1991, cellular memory. And so I began to write about it and teach about it, though I was told I was crazy, a nutcase, did not know what I was talking about. But it took Harvard till 2007 to actually do it. But it was through the transplants. And that is what really how I healed myself. And just one note, in 2002, I was studied at the University of Arizona, and they told me you're a genius. And I go, and you guys are crazy. My brain's out of place. Thank you so much for cooperating my heart and my cellular memory. Thank you very much. And we all laughed.
And we're all geniuses in that way, according to what you're saying. We have this cellular genius memory, right?
Yes, we
Beautiful.
do. It's those
Beautiful.
memorizations that get in the way.
Exactly. Love it. Okay, great. So Jacqueline, tell us a little bit more about you. Who do you work with and what do you do with them?
So I really love working with highly accomplished women, super smart women, people kind of like me in a way, but people who are still stuck in that self-doubt, who are, compromised around their issues of credibility, their competence levels and so forth. We call it the imposter syndrome. But I heard too many stories over the years of women who are not fulfilling their potential. And so much of it is fear-based. And the fear basically is, I'm not good enough. And when you get into that way of thinking, it holds you back immensely from everything that you want to do. And why do I do what I do? Because I have lived that story. I know that one really, really well. And I spent a great deal of my years dealing with my own fears, with my own uncertainties, with my own false stories about who I was and what I was capable of doing. And it took me quite a while to finally get over the hump and figure out that there was a lot more to me than I was giving myself credit for. And one of the things that I noticed about accomplished women is they actually don't take credit for their accomplishments, and they tend to downplay them. So my job is to help you break through those barriers. I like to say that fear matters to our success because it's either a driver or a barricade. And I've just completed 60 interviews with some very high-level women, and the stories, they do come up, and there's a lot of similarities to them. So killing that self-doubt, killing that place of making yourself smaller than you need to be, and allowing people to really rise up and truly live fully to their potential. That's the work that I do now, because I am super passionate about wanting to see more women in strong leadership, because frankly, the world needs it. We have been dealing with men in their worlds for too long, and it's time for women to take their place.
So give us just a little taste of the fear and the background you had to overcome.
So for me, the fear in the background was I was raised in a family of alcoholics and tremendous physical violence. So I grew up in a very fearful state from a very, very early age. And I made a lot of big mistakes along the way in my early part of my life. And it could have ruined me. But there was a point in my life where I was pregnant for the third time. First two stories are long stories. We don't have time to go into them today, but I decided around mid-30s that it was time for me to get my act together. And so I started the work of confronting my fears. And a lot of that fear was I really wasn't expected to amount to much. And that was the biggest piece for me. So I've gone on, I've written books, made music, done martial arts, did all kinds of stuff, just to kind of get over the hump of fear. And I encourage every woman that I talk to do the same.
Well, bravo. to you and to all of you ladies for overcoming what it was for you to get to the next step to be able to help other people. And that's what we do here at Women Speakers Association. We let you bring your message to the world so you can help more people. So I'm really curious to hear, and really quickly from each of you, what is the value of Women Speakers Association? Sylvie?
Well, we just had the perfect experience, with what we just experienced together. It's so inspiring to listen to these women. And it's really definitely for me, heart-to-heart connection with women around the world. This is so inspiring to me.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Mira, what's the value of Women Speakers Association to you?
Yeah, so I've been growing my thought leadership in a variety of ways in this space. And so, for example, I write for Psychology Today. I published that book on workplace politics. I write some pieces on social media, and I've been speaking more. And I'm hoping that WSA can help me continue to grow my thought leadership, my brand as a thought leader, including as a speaker, and learning about how to get paid for speaking opportunities, more publishing, and getting surrounded by magical, amazing women like you, which I think can really elevate us all.
Well, I think you've already started the process with us, being here on the show, being with these amazing women. So welcome. Okay, Sherry, tell us about the value of Women Speakers Association that it's been for you already.
Well, what I would say is my friend Emmeline Saavedra told me about this wonderful organization, and just in the connections that I've been making, it's so extraordinary. I was on JJ's radio show or podcast in Scotland, and what I love is that women are, and it's time, is to bring out their brilliance that have been hidden for centuries. And that's the part that I love so much, is listening and taking in what each of these women have done in their own lives to make differences. So as a wordologist, I call it in heartness, in the allness of us, in that connectedness. And that's what makes the difference, that resonance.
It sure does. Thank you. And Jacqueline, what's the value of Women Speakers Association?
I think it's always going to be about community and how do we support and encourage each other as women specifically. This is a big deal, and I think belonging to a community of women who really do bring their best selves, who really do bring the best of everything they have to offer. And as a speaker, I feel, like all of you do, that I have a very important message that needs to be heard. So, learning how to put that out in the world and having the resources necessary, and WSA actually provides a lot of that. That's a really big piece of why I'm part of the WSA community at this point.
Well, absolutely. We've brought together some amazing women, meaning all of you today. And thank you for watching. And we will be back next week with another episode of our Women Speakers Association's WSA TV. Thanks, ladies. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.